Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Record of Agarest War. In the last bonus video, we took a look at the light ending to the 5th generation. And in today's bonus video, we are going to go to look at some of the DLC dungeons that this game has to offer. There are 5 major DLC dungeons, one in each generation. Each one is you can get from either Xbox Live Marketplace or the PlayStation Store. I do believe these are free if I remember correctly. I do remember getting absolutely nothing for these. So, the first one here is the Holy Island of Erin. This is in the 1st generation. I think, if I remember correctly, it's been so long since we did it. We did take a look at this dungeon in the Let's Play itself, if I remember correctly. But the Holy Island of Erin is practically a very simple, straightforward dungeon. There's no real too much of a lost factor in this dungeon and whatnot. This is all post-commentary, by the way. The first treasure chest here is a Stone of Life, but since I don't need it, I don't have to worry about it. These are the characters that I'm going to be using for the remainder of the bonus videos that I'm going to be using. But we aren't going to be seeing them fight because I cut out all the extra battles and everything. But as of right now, this is the current team and the team that's going to carry us all the way through into the bonus videos. But in this one is a glaive. The other treasure chest is gospel, the skilled gospel. So there's another treasure chest there. I think really this place doesn't really have very much treasure to it. So honestly, if you could skip out on this extra dungeon, like I said, these are all optional. These are all downloadable content. I just did it because, well, it was free, and I just wanted to show it off. And honestly, making a video on this just in case somebody did do the same thing I did and wanted a complete walkthrough of each one of these dungeons, they can have one. But that's one main reason why I did it. I'm gonna, like you guys probably have noticed, I'm very thorough with it when it comes to this Let's Play. I really want to go in depth and cover every little detail. This one is a flame barrel. That's a scythe. That one is actually a flame scythe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I wanted to be as thorough as I can with this Let's Play because, well, it's not very often you get to see a thorough Let's Play of this game in particular, because I know not a lot of people play this series, and, well, I really do like this series a lot, and I just wanted to see if you guys... I wanted to help somebody. That's the main reason why I started this Let's Play in general. But if we continue going down this way, I do believe there is something at the very end here. If I remember correctly, in the Let's Play itself, we did come in here and I ran into a big chicken enemy. Ice Seal Sword. A Kokiri. Not a Kokori from Legend of Zelda, but Kokori or something like that. A Gaia Claw. And an air brig. Each one of these major dungeons are going to have one special room that has 4 treasure chests in it. So when you get to that room, you're very much at the end of the DLC dungeon. So practically the rest of the remainder of this is me backtracking all the way back to the main entrance. I didn't cut that part because I didn't know if anybody would be lost. So I figured I would backtrack all the way back in case somebody is lost. But anyways, I wanted to be as thorough as I can. And, well, the DLC dungeons, while this is completely optional, standard users won't have this. I just wanted to make sure I get a complete walkthrough of this because, well, in case somebody does have it. I failed to mention in the last episode that this game is actually available on Steam, too. I forgot to mention that. This game actually came out on Steam around the time I did this Let's Play. It came out. It came out by Greenlight, if I remember correctly. Greenlight helped sponsor this game and make it available on Steam. So I know that a lot of people watch the videos that just got it on Steam and everything, and I thank you for it. And I hope I helped you guys. I really do. Because this is a complicated game, and honestly, it's really complicated to get the best ending and whatnot. You have to follow a set path. You have to end up being neutral at the end of all of that, and that's really hard to do. And, well, as long as this game is, I wouldn't blame anybody to want to just do it in one playthrough. But that was the Holy Island of Erin. So now we're back here in Gracia. We need to go to this town right here, and I think I showed this off in Let's Play too, all these little conversations in order to unlock the DLC dungeons. Yeah, this guy right here. If you come here to Renda Town in Gracia, if you have the DLC already installed on your system, he'll tell you about a mighty hero that had cleared up Trum Coast, and the monsters still, reside there. So, whenever you do that, you unlock the DLC dungeon, Trum Coast. So, we've actually been here in the story itself, but now it's actually a quest. So, it actually turned into a quest area. So now we can actually go and explore it. Now, this is an introduction to a type of dungeon layout we haven't seen before. We haven't seen beaches. We haven't seen beach-type dungeons and everything, and that's pretty cool. I do like this. I wish this was in the regular game. That's how cool I like the beach setting here. This chest has mithril in it. And if we continue along down this way, Trum Coast is kind of confusing because the way it's laid out is it goes in a circle. It really wants you to go in a circle. So where we came out is where we... Actually, no, I'm thinking of another DLC dungeon. I'm sorry. This kind of is a long, straightforward path. But it has a couple of side steps out of the way. But if we keep coming down through this way here, we can actually... I do believe there's a treasure chest up there. Or not. You can actually jump up that... that's right. You jump up that way to go down to the branching pathways and stuff like that. But, anyways, if we keep continuing going down this way here... I just like the beach setting. It's really nice. I wish the dungeons were like this. Inside here is a max HP up. That's actually very useful in case you're wanting to do the extended boundary plane, which we'll take a look at here in a few videos. And in here is a phantom bracelet. So that's another little equipable item and stuff like that. If we keep going down this way here, we'll be running into an enemy, and I cut that battle out. But anyways, let's keep going on this way here. I cut out the battles because, well, out of all this, the total, this was about 45 minutes of footage. And honestly, I managed to cut out of the battles to make it 30. And I really hope that helps a lot. But we are covering 5 dungeons, so it really does help a lot. But here's a little side step here. If you come up here, this is actually something different. There's a mini fort right here. If we come in here, the room will have 4 treasure chests in it. The first one is a phantom sword. The next one is a lucky charm. And the other ones here, this one is an agility up. And finally we have Luna's wand. So that's pretty much that. I do like that it's like in a little fort right here. This is actually kind of really unique in a way. Kind of just went out of its way to say, okay, here's a fort, go explore it. Now if you continue going down this way, if I remember correctly, it pretty much shows off where you could, I told you where that branching path was. So we're back in that area that I was just at. But yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. You can come down here, and it's like, oh, that's a branching pathway. Well, we want to actually go back, because the exit is actually up here. We want to go up this way, because the exit is up here. We are almost to the exit. And then I took a branching pathway over here to get to the fort to get the treasure chest. But if we keep coming down this way, we will head up to the exit. Most of these DLC dungeons aren't that long. I think really the longest one that I can really remember, and when I say longest, I'm talking about like length of time, is actually the 3rd generation's DLC dungeon, which we'll be taking a look at here soon. That one actually took the longest time because one thing in particular, the enemy encounter rate was really high in that one. It's really hard to leave the dungeon. Like, some of these dungeons I didn't even run into enemies. mainly the 1st and the 5th generation dungeons, I didn't even run into enemies. But like here in the 4th, I ran into a few enemies. The 3rd one actually was chock full of them. So actually now let's go over to Findius. If we come over here to Masoi, we can actually unlock an event here, which will unlock the DLC dungeon here. And I think, if I remember correctly, we did talk to this guy. He's like, oh, by the way, the monsters at Magna Vall, they are back. And you have to stop them. You have to go and reclaim all the treasures at Magna Vall. Because, you know what? There's treasures to be had. So now we need to actually go back to Magna Vall. If you remember where that was where we fought the Durga in the final battle of the 3rd generation. It has now become a quest area. So if we come in here, we can actually explore this. So let's go into Magna Vall. Now I mentioned that this one has the most enemy occupied. Yeah, there's going to be several cuts in this run through this dungeon because, well, enemy encounter rates are extremely high here. You have 2 pathways. You can go left or right. I went left first because it actually is a dead end over there. But if we go left first, we can actually come up this way. This long hallway. You can see why the enemy encounter rate is pretty high. It's a very long hallway. And come up here. You got 2 treasure chests. We got a stone shower and a tornado. So 2 skills, 2 magic skills to be certain. So that was pretty much that in the left hand there. But if we come up down this way, and you'll see that it's kind of funny right here because I'm about ready to run into a battle right here. Normally that would look like, oh, well, I was only a few steps away from the door. Looked like I went through the door, didn't it? No, I ran into a battle. But we want to actually come down to the right side now. Now the right side is the one that we need to actually take because, well, this is the one that leads to the room with the 4 chests, if you remember correctly what I told you. This one is a lot of winding pathways too. So you have to actually be really careful here because, like I said before, the enemy encounter rate is extremely high here. If you don't take your time and get to the area quickly, you'll be running into a lot of battles. This is actually a really good grinding spot. If you're needing grinding spots for previous generations, if your characters are too low level and you really need to get some grinding in without wasting turns, this is actually the best way to do so. And inside this treasure chest is an ogre ring. So if we keep continuing going on this way here, go down this path right here, we'll run into another battle, cut that out, and then we'll keep going down this way. I cut out a lot of battles in this video, folks. There are a lot of enemies here. But, like I said before, in the correspondence to the generation you are in currently, this is a good way to grind without having to waste turns. So, if we come up this way, go through this door here, we will go deeper into the fortress where the Durga actually slept. We can actually go through that doorway, but I'm going to completely ignore that for right now because there's treasure to be had up here. And as you guys can see, this is the room where the Durga was. So there's 4 treasure chests right here. A Vite Up Plus, or Vite Up, just a regular Vite Up, a Magic Up Plus skill, and inside the other treasure chests are a Magic Blade and a bracelet of Fuit. I can't ever say that. I cannot ever say that word. I am not good with different languaged words. But yeah, there's stuff like that. And we cut out another battle here. So now we're going to continue going on this way here. And if we come through here, we will get another room that is even deeper into the fortress right there. Even though we got the 4 treasure chests, I'm going for all the treasure chests in the dungeon. So there are a couple of treasure chests to be had here. This one, actually, if I remember correctly, this dungeon in particular had a lot of treasure chests. There's a Vessel of Life there if you needed one. There's a max HP up, so that's another item to increase your stats. And a Gatling Gauntlet. Or Gatling Knuckle, I'm sorry. Gauntlet Knuckle, same thing, really. But now we're backtracking out of the fortress and cutting out more battles. But Magna Vall is pretty much treasure central. There's a lot of treasure to be had in Magna Vall. I was really surprised how treasure heavy the dungeon is. Now, when I did my regular playthrough, the first time I played this game, I completely just ignored most of these dungeons. I only went through the first 3 generations of dungeons because I just didn't want to bother with it because, well, even though I'm a completionist, I thought this was just extra stuff that was annoying and wasn't really relevant. So the next 2 playthroughs, the next 2 dungeons, those are completely blind to me. But I'm following a map, so it doesn't really matter. But I've never actually been to the next 2 generation dungeons before, even though I unlocked them. I thought that was kind of it was pretty cool when I looked at them, though. But if we continue going on this way here, we'll finally get out of Magna Vall. And we'll be able to get going to the next generation of DLC dungeons here. But like I said, I think these are free on Steam, Xbox Live Marketplace, and PlayStation Network store. So I do believe these are free, if I remember correctly. Most of the DLC on this game, there's a lot of free DLC that you can get. And when I started the Let's Play, I did have a lot of DLC. Best advice I could really give is to get it. But now we're here in in Chambray, and if you come over here to the place where we recruited Ryu, you'll talk to this guy, and he'll tell you about Tresor Island. It's a play on words of Treasure Island. I thought that was pretty funny. But we can actually unlock the DLC dungeon Tresor Island. I had a really tough time trying to get to that area because you have to hit it in just the right spot on the directional pad. There we go. So now we unlock Tresor Island. I always thought that was pretty cool. It's a play on words of Treasure Island. And Treasure Island was like one of my favorite stories to read when I was younger. But Tresor Island is just like Trum Coast. It's a beach setting. So you'll be able to see a lot of beach sceneries and stuff like that. I do like this layout of a dungeon. We've never seen this in the actual playthrough. We've always seen forest. We've always seen, fortresses. We've always seen, like caves and stuff like that, but never beaches and one-time deserts. But here's a Gladius, I'm sorry. But honestly, anybody who's ever playing this game, get the DLC. There's a lot of free DLC that is actually really good. There's a Marfile Seed there, and there's an AGI Plus, an Agility Plus, I'm sorry. But if we keep going up this way here, we'll continue going on. This is the DLC that actually loops around. So where we came out, that's the exit. So this DLC actually like loops around in a circle. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. There's a Shadow Sting skill here. And in this treasure chest over here is a railgun. But yeah, I can't stress enough, if you start this game and you want to start this game, go on your system's marketplace and try to download as much free DLC as you can. It'll really help you out. Now there are some DLC that are like $2. That really doesn't really help you. I played through this game only using free DLC, so I wouldn't worry too much about the paid DLC. Paid DLC is actually really nice, but the free ones are the ones that actually really help a lot. Like, there's this one particular sword that I got. It was the Sword of Chaos, or the SOC. Gladius actually wielded that the whole entire playthrough. It's a really powerful sword. But Rush Beat here. Oh yeah, I forgot. We also had cliff sides as a scenery here. This island right here, that's a max HP up plus. This DLC dungeon has a lot of scenery to it. It has deserts, it has beaches, and it has peaks, like cliff sides and stuff like that, and mountain areas. That's actually pretty cool. I do like that. And we ran into a battle. I cut that out. So we keep coming down this way here. And we're back on the beach scenery. So now we get to go around. I think this is the curve of that circling portion I mentioned earlier. This place actually circles around and stuff like that. I think if I remember correctly, this dungeon and the next dungeon are really the longest said dungeons that we have. There's a lot of rooms to them. But anyways, if we keep continuing going on this way here, I do believe this is where it actually it loops around. And come back down this way here. I do kind of mess up on the pathway here. Like I said, I am playing this kind of blind a little bit. So it's really hard to... I was trying to follow a map, and I got lost a little bit. So it was really hard to kind of just come back to this. But there is a part where I had to actually backtrack because I recognized this room. I was like, wait a second. I was like, I've recognized this room. And then I just decided, I was like, okay, maybe that's just a coincidence. And then there's a part right here where I was just like, wait a second. Something's off here. I've been in that room. It was around here I had that conundrum. I was like, wait a second. I looked around here, I was like, wait a second, this looks familiar. No, go back. This is like, I was like, I knew this looked too familiar. I was like, I'm gonna go back because I know there's one more treasure chest because I'm looking at the map and I was like, oh gosh, there's one more treasure chest I haven't gotten yet. So I took the other pathway. I took this way. I didn't go through back to the way I came. I took this way because this is actually leads to that said treasure chest I was mentioning. But we come around here. And I'm sorry if I have a little sniffles. I kind of had really bad allergy attack earlier. But here, this is where Square Cross is. So it's kind of... I was like, okay, there you go. That was the last treasure chest. But there's a free Square Cross skill if you really need it. But anyways, let's continue and leave this island. We did get all the treasure. So now we don't have to worry about this island anymore. But this is actually kind of a cool little dungeon. I do like it because it's just different than all the other one. It has multiple sceneries to it. Like a lot of these DLC dungeons I've noticed have multiple like room sceneries. Like that one had desert, that one had beach, that one had cliffside. The first one had a forest and a cave. Now we're in Agarest. We come over here to Sintan and we talk to this lady. This lady will tell us about a forest where adventurers had gone, but they had never returned. They went into this forest to search for treasure, but the monsters were really too strong, and they never returned back. But I do believe I did talk to these people already before, because I was wondering what these events were. It's like, oh shoot, I forgot about these. And then I remember that I was like, oh yeah, that's right. These unlock the DLC dungeons. But if we come up here, we come on up here to Deep Forest Neruvia. This is actually a very, very powerful monster dungeon. Luckily, I never ran into any monsters. But if you're wanting a good grinding spot for the boundary plane, this is a good spot because it has the same type of enemies as the boundary plane does. It has really powerful enemies because, well, this place doesn't unlock until after the 5th generation, so it really does help a lot if you're really needing to grind but not wanting to waste turns. Actually, at that point, the turn counter doesn't matter. But if you're wanting like a good spot where you didn't have to continuously push A or X, yeah, this is a good spot to grind for. But Deep Forest Neruvia is the last DLC dungeon. It's in the 5th generation. We come up here. Come up this branching pathway. I do believe at the very end of this room right here, we will run into a couple treasure chests. There's one right here. We got a ray. I think that was the only one in this room. Yeah, we just got a ray skill. A lot of these treasure chests that you get in these dungeons are in fact skills, which actually help out a lot if you're missing a bunch of them and you don't want to, you know, research for them. But if we come down this way here, go down here and take you around this pathway right here where the fences are. There's another treasure chest. Let's look inside. A dark finger. Now, most of these items right here, I'll get into more in the next episode, but a lot of these items in the DLC dungeons I've noticed are weapons. Along with the skills, there's a lot of weapon type items here that you need to convert for stuff, and that's really helpful. Like right here, there's a durandal. You'll need that later. And it's really hard to actually make these weapons because there's a lot of ingredients to them. But right here is a strength up plus. And it's really nice to get all these items, and I completely forgot about this, and this would have helped me a lot earlier when I was trying to grind for titles. And I'll go over that more in the next episode, but that's actually the biggest challenge in the game, is to get all the titles. And honestly, like, if I would have known, I would have came here a lot earlier. If I would have known all these treasure chests were here. Because a lot of these items you need for making alchemy, making certain items, and stuff like that. Like the black frame right here, you need that. And there's one particular item at the very end of the dungeon. It was just like, I had a facepalm moment. I was like, really? I could have gotten one earlier? That would have helped out a lot. But we'll get into that more whenever I come up here. But there is an item in here that I was just like, really? Really, game? You actually supplied with one? In a DLC? Well, that kind of stinks. There's a max HP up plus here. And I do believe this is the item. No, that's blood red. You still need that, though. That's the thing. You still need that for, like, creating items and stuff like that. I got so frustrated with it. Like, that's the greatest challenge in the game, is to get all the titles. And it's the most annoying, because you have to go and sit there and grind for items. And it's really annoying whenever I try to get it from an enemy and he won't give it to me. So it really got a case of, I was getting to a point where I just want to throw the controller at the screen and stuff like that. And then I find out about this and I'm just like, oh my gosh, really? That would have helped out in the future. Or that would have helped out in the past. Luckily for me, I've gotten all the challenges done. I've done everything. So, this is the item right here. No, that's Resurrection. I'm sorry. Resurrection actually helps out a lot. Use that on your healer and stuff like that. This is the item in question I was talking about. A Lucewet. This is a special type of scythe to make an item called a fin brain. You need a lot of fin brains, and fin brains are like hell to put together. That was one of the items, and that was one of the items that was really annoying to get for the fin brain. Lucewet. I was just like, are you kidding me? There was a Lucewet here. It was just so annoying. I was just like, oh my gosh. You actually need that to make the strongest scythe in the game. And I'll go into more detail about that in another bonus episode. But yeah, you need to actually make a fin brain in order to make the strongest. I think you do need a fin brain, if I remember correctly. Oh no, you need a scythe called a Helheim, which requires a fin brain, and which requires a Lucewet. See how long that process the alchemy gets and how annoying it gets? But alas, that's the greatest challenge in the game, so I wouldn't blame it. They won't give you the challenge that easily. But yeah, I mean, I'll go into more detail about that in the next bonus video, because that's actually the next bonus video. I'm gonna go in detail what each title requires you to do. But yeah, but that was Deep Forest Neruvia. That was the last DLC dungeon in the game. I really hope that this helps anybody who's actually trying to look through the DLC dungeons and wanting to see if they're worth it or not. Actually, since it's free DLC, my take is any free DLC is good DLC. So that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Well, anyways, guys, that'll end this bonus video. In the next bonus video, Let's Play Record of Agarest War. Like I said before, we are going to take a look at all the titles in the game here, and I'll go into more detail how to obtain each title. So I will see you guys in the next episode.